Happy almost Thanksgiving, everybody. It's meteorologist Matt Wintz with you here on our Sunday evening region weather live. Last one here before the holiday, obviously, unless we have a huge snowstorm that's coming our way, which I do not see for Thanksgiving. That's some good news. We've got quite a bit to talk about because our pattern is going to turn very active, like really active across the country. So we're going to have a storm system every couple days, like 2 days on some cases, 3 days on others, and each one of these storm systems is going to have a snow component to it because it's that time of year, right? We're going to get in the month of December here shortly. And then there's going to be, obviously accumulations to talk about. There's going to be ice components to some of these. Not saying we line up with all of that, but all of these systems need watch now as we bring that jet stream in and a lot of Pacific moisture and meeting up with the Gulf. It's that time of year where it gets super crazy weather-wise here across the country. And you're probably seeing a lot of that on social. Maybe you're not. I feel like a lot of meteorologists are because Facebook says, hey, you're looking at weather stuff on Facebook. So we're going to show you every meteorologist there is, whether they're a meteorologist or someone forecasting from their basement. There's a big difference. And there's been so much. I remember last month I saw so much stuff about December being a December to remember and Arctic blasts and blah, blah, blah. And I just want to start this broadcast by saying, it's going to be winter soon. It gets cold and it snows. And if there's something extremely out of the ordinary, we will tell you on Region Weather, all right? Otherwise, the stuff and the junk that you are seeing on social is all to get your clicks, and these folks are getting paid big time by it. It's such a scam this year. It's worse than ever. And then I had some of them coming at me, which just drives me nuts. They're like, you're the one hyping it up. And I'm like, I don't know. It's just a crazy world we live in. This world is worse than ever, and all the meteorologists are dealing with it. People are saying, all these clickbait places are saying, oh, your ratings are down on TV, and you're just trying to get clicks yourself. Like, no, that's not it. I'm having to put out fires for people saying, hey, is this snowstorm really coming? When it showed up in the model one day. So that's the world I live in. It's been a rough week in terms of all that garbage that's out there, but I just don't want you guys to fall for it. I feel like most of you know that. I mean, you know what's going on. It doesn't have to be me who followed, but just make sure you follow a meteorologist who isn't hyping stuff up like crazy. Okay, it's winter, it's going to snow, all right, and nothing is out of the ordinary, all right, over the next 2.5 weeks, but it is going to get interesting. So there's that. All right, we've got some folks on board. We'll let a few more people join. Let me get through our sponsors real quick. Let me see here. I'm missing. This is interesting. We have a new. What is going on here? All right, here we go. That's what I'm missing is my sidebar with all of our sponsors on it. I had a new update to our software, so there you go. Don't you love it when they update things? They like take things away. You're like, no, it was better when I had all my settings there before. Anyway, we're back. You see up above me all the sponsors that we have, guys. Listen, they're all local family-owned businesses, and they're all amazing. So if you need, we have pretty much one sponsor for every kind of niche or specialty. So if you need any of these things, just make sure you turn to them. That's how you can support us, okay? We'll start with Kate Cusack. She's your home loan girl for all your mortgage needs. If you guys are looking for a new home, she's got the perfect recipe this holiday season. Stress-free, simple, easy as pie. How does that sound? Contact her today about getting pre-approved for your dream home for the holidays. Also, as rates continue to come down, maybe you want to refinance, save a little extra money for the holidays on that payment. Maybe get a little chunk of cash to spend. She can do that for you too. Kate Cusack over at Ruoff Mortgage. Just Kate Cusack Home Loan Girl on Facebook. Michael Minogue from Minogue.life. Michael's been serving the world of life insurance, Medicare, Medicaid for decades. He knows his stuff. There are a lot of plan changes that go into effect here in 2026, which is just around the corner. And you're going to be automatically enrolled in this stuff if you don't do anything, especially if you have Medicare. You'll be automatically enrolled to Medicare Parts A and B with no prescription drug coverage with some of the changes coming on. So because coverage is ending, effective people can select any of the plans that are still available in the area with no health questions. It's very important that you know your different options, he says, and how a plan works before you select a new plan, like costs, copays, deductibles, network of doctors, and prescription charges and stuff like that. So if you have questions about it, which I know a lot of you do, lean on the expert. He has a no-cost consultation. He'll sit down with you and go over your plan, make sure you have what you need. We can make changes. His office is in Maryville. You can call him at 219-614-0498 to make an appointment, or you can just email him if you feel like doing that. It's Mike at Minogue.life. All right, get that done before the new year starts. Halcyon Water Solutions provides the highest quality water treatment with exceptional service all across Northwest Indiana. They do water softening, filtration, salt delivery, maintenance. They've got all your water needs covered. Call 866-97-WATER to schedule your free in-home water analysis today. Water's pretty important, especially in our house. We have we got this house from someone who was older, and they had a walk-in tub, and we're like, we got to get that walk-in tub out of there. And then we're like, wait a second, it's kind of nice. Glass of wine, bubbles, although we haven't done that very much, but it's really nice for giving the kids a bath because you just plop them in, they have fun. Anyway, long story short, today, and this has to do with water. Today, our house is crazy. We've got 5 kids, right? And they're all under 9. And today I was trying to do stuff with the Christmas tree we're putting up and all that stuff. And I had the bath running in that walk-in tub for the boys because it's bath day, right? I mean, we give them bath once a week. That's fine. But anyway, so I had it running and I forgot about it. And I remembered last second, I go over this thing. It's like at the top of the door. It was so close to like flooding. There's no like drain in there that like overflow drain or anything like that. It's a great thing. But anyway, so then I filled it up with bubble solution and turned on the jets, which I haven't done very often for the kids because I usually don't get the water level that high. And this thing, man, did it make bubbles. It made so many bubbles. It was nuts. Anyway, so we had a lot of fun with that, but there's a giant mess to clean up after this broadcast, then I'll go to bed. So there's that. So water's important. That's my whole point. Halcyon will take care of you in terms of that. Earl's Heating and Air Conditioning, place to go. Obviously, we need furnace tune-ups now as we get closer to winter. You don't want your furnace pooping out on you in the middle of a cold snap. So get it fixed now. Get ahead of this stuff. Earl's they're scheduling out for tune-ups. If you need a new furnace, if your HVC is not doing its thing, they can do that. They can add humidifiers to these things to make your indoor air environment so you're not zapping yourself, so you're not getting sick all the time. There's so much technology around it right now. Earl's been serving Northwest Indiana, and they've been the most trusted heating company in Schererville since 1976. So they're doing something right. EarlsHeating.com to get on the schedule there. PublicServiceAdjusting.com, the place to go if you've got an insurance claim. What do they do with that, and why do you need them? Well, they have local licensed assured adjusters. They come out, call them first before your insurance company on any claim you have. They'll come out, document it, take pictures, stuff, submit the package to your insurance company, and they'll deal with your insurance company. The back and forth, the negotiating, all that stuff, that we don't have enough pictures. Yes, you do. They'll take care of that. They act on your behalf. And what they will do is they'll get the money that your insurance company is not going to give you, like full price for things. They're amazing. 5-star reviews across the board. PublicServiceAdjusting.com. Romans Roofing, if you need a new roof, you want to make sure that home is sealed in, obviously. They don't just do roofs. They do siding. They do windows. They do gutters, all that stuff. Super important as we head towards the winter season. If you had a lot of icicles in one spot of the house, maybe they're bringing down the gutter, that tells you your windows are leaking some heat, right? Some icicles are normal with venting, but not a lot, not the big ones. So make sure you take care of that before winter gets here. Romans Roofing, you can go to romansroofing.net or give them a call at 219-838-9111. Tiger Plumbing, you guys know Tiger Plumbing. They're amazing. They have a PSA for everyone. Make sure your water line going out to your hoses, your water valves outside, make sure those are shut off inside your house, okay? A lot of people don't know to do that. That prevents that water from being where it freezes on the outside, which can prevent pipe and water damage come those real cold air snaps that we get in the middle of winter. So make sure those water valves are off. Okay, you want to drain them on the outside after you turn it off. Just make sure all the water's out and then cover them with one of those outdoor covers. That'll keep everything nice and warm in terms of the water pipes going outside. So that PSA from them is free. TigerPlumbing.net if you have any plumbing issues. They'll take care of you. FBIBuildings.com. 22,000 pole barns constructed in the Midwest. That's a lot more than one. They do great work. They do pole barn renovation. They'll construct one for you if you want residential, commercial. These things look amazing. You should check out their Facebook page, FBIBuildings.com. T&T Tree Service, if you guys have a funky looking tree, maybe it's getting ready to fall, got some weird branches like rattling the windows at night. They do it all. They're in Valparaiso, family-owned business, T&T Tree Services. They specialize in dangerous removals using modern equipment. Trust the team that values safety, integrity, and professionalism over at T&T Tree Service. Some of those wind makers coming through, make sure you get those trees fixed. Give them a call today, 219-300-6256, or visit them at tttreeservice.com. Finally, last but not least, Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Valparaiso. They've been serving Northwest Indiana for decades. They're amazing. They do such great work in the community as well. And they have. I'm gonna post this week, but they've got a drive going for the holidays right now. So I'll get you some information on that. You can help out folks in the community. Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, US 30 there in Valparaiso. All right, let's talk to our early birds, and we'll get our show on the road. I think we've had enough people that have joined now. We can get to some of the content. Rhonda, hot on the trigger figure. You were first tonight. You're my early bird tonight. Honor, thanks for joining us on our YouTube channel. Appreciate that. Honor's very excited for the upcoming snow. The software upgrade, it made these comments huge. You guys are huge below me. I love it. Hope you had a nice weekend too, Derek. Thanks for joining us. Let's see. Keep the snow both of I-80. Keep the snow both of I-80. I think you mean south of I-80. Tina, that's awesome. Gail's with us. Appreciate it, Gail. Lisa's with us. I'm so blown away with how big you guys are on my screen. I don't know if it's any bigger for you. Ruth, hello to you. Yeah, Derek, which is interesting. Derek's talking about there's the GFS keeps picking up on some kind of hurricane or tropical storm developing in December, which would be pretty rare. We'll see if that holds true. If the GFS is right for once, I would be blown away. Wouldn't impact us though. Bass Cat Joey, hello. Amy's with us. Andrew, nice to see you as well. How you doing, Andrew? Don Z's with us as well. Thanks. Thanks, Don. I have a day job. I get out of the basement. I do weather on TV still, too. Not saying that's any better, but that's super sweet of you. Julie, happy Thanksgiving to you as well. I love that you get the daily emails and all the reports on the radio side of things. So you listen to Z1079. I love that. Thank you very much. Ethan's with us as well. He's looking at those winter storms next week. Terry says only good weather this week. New granddaughter coming to Nana's for Thanksgiving. That's a huge deal. Terry, do you have the crib up and all that stuff? Did you have to go get a porta crib, or do you already have it from other grandkids? And Derek, yeah, Derek, I saw that the train went by. What was it, 3 a.m.? The holiday train. Did anyone get up and see that? That's a pretty big deal here in Northwest Indiana. So is that. All right, and Eric is saying snow. Yes. Okay, let's dive in, shall we? Thank you, guys. Happy Thanksgiving to you too. Hope you guys have just a wonderful week out ahead. We'll be with you all week, though, so I don't think we're going anywhere. All right, let's talk big pattern. You've got a lot of travel plans. You know, if you're not traveling, like we haven't traveled in a long time other than, a couple minutes away. So just note that I understand everyone's talking travel and all that. Some of you are just staying home. I get that. Some of you are going down the street. So let's talk about impacts in terms of what's coming locally, and then we'll go into this pattern change. We'll go through the first week and a half in December, okay? We've got some rain on the way. This is a cutoff low. This is the second cutoff low we've had in 2 weeks now that's come out of the desert southwest. These things aren't always picked up well on the modeling days in advance. We have a good idea of how it's going to behave now because it's starting to come out of the desert southwest. But you can see the explosion of clouds there in areas of Texas as this gets some Gulf moisture involved. Big old storms down in Oklahoma here tonight. This thing's coming our way, and it'll come our way with increasing clouds tomorrow. And then we'll be dealing with perhaps some rain as early as tomorrow evening, tomorrow night. But then definitely tomorrow night into Tuesday, we get a round of rain in here. Shouldn't last too long. So here's that system. What I want us to see is off towards the north. See this little spiral right here? Very subtle, but coming out of Canada. That is the leading edge of some colder air that's also going to kind of connect with this system and start to plunge in the U.S. So sign of things to come. I want you to see the temperature difference, okay? There's a lot of cold air. There's not a ton of cold air right now in Canada. What we often look at here in Northwest Indiana is we look for cold air, like really cold stuff to bottle up in Siberia first, and then it usually makes that transition to Alaska, northern Canada. And then once it's bottled up here where my mouse cursor is, that is when we know that it just takes one front and we've got Arctic shot. And I'm not talking like winter cold. I'm talking like that's the teens and the 0 degree and minus below zero stuff that we get when we get these big chunks of the polar vortex that break off and go into northern Canada, right? We don't have that yet. But what does happen here as we go through time, I want you to see this is the real cold stuff here where the air temps are below zero. All right, once you get to this white shade and you get into some of these like greenish turquoise, whatever color that is. All right, and watch how it makes a transition from the Arctic Circle up here into northern Canada and into Alaska. Here you go. This is Wednesday. This is Thanksgiving. It's not here yet. We've got cold air. We know it's going to get colder. And again, we'll get into details, but I always like to start big picture. But notice as we go through time, here's Friday, here's Saturday. Uh-oh, This is a chunk of the polar vortex. This happens all the time. People, especially news stations, and not ours, but other news stations, and I'm talking like national publications, stuff like that, they're latching on to this idea that the polar vortex is coming. They haven't learned that the buzzword's kind of old now because we've been saying it for a decade, but they're saying how big of a deal this is, that the polar vortex is coming. All right. It's not a big deal. This is how we get our cold shots of air in the wintertime. Sometimes, like in January, that air is at its peak cold, right? So that's when you get the real bad, dangerous stuff. But this isn't a huge deal. This happens all the time. It's going to happen a lot more this year because our jet stream around this northern tier of the world is a little weaker. The stratosphere is doing its thing, and we've got warming event up there, so that equates to kind of a weaker circulation. And so this is all coming together to form several shots of cold air across different parts of the world. But it's also going to be December. All right, so let's keep everything into perspective. But what I do want you to see is that that cold air is coming in northern Canada. This is Sunday, November 30th, okay, so a week from today. And then notice how now it's in play, where now it's here. Remember that area I circled? And it just takes a front or two to get it in. And it does look like there are several fronts that keep this cold air coming. And look how it's getting even colder as we get towards December 8th, which you would expect, but this is even cold by northern Canada standards for a lot of these locations, okay? So I say that because cold air is going to be in play, all right? And it's going to be in play for much of the month of December. Okay, let's talk about travel. Let's talk about the weather here locally. So what we've got, again, tomorrow, I think mainly dry during the day. Good day to get groceries. If you are doing some yard work, perhaps, maybe you didn't get it done this weekend, you had Friendsgiving this weekend, whatever it happens to be, tomorrow's a good day to get the yard work done. It really is. The wind isn't going to be too strong. Leaves are still dry after the weekend, and we're looking good. Rain will start to move in here in waves. Nothing too organized by tomorrow evening into tomorrow after sunset. However, it does come in once we get beyond the midnight hour. I think towards daybreak, we're talking waking up Tuesday morning. We're going to have a round of rain in here. So Tuesday's morning's commute may be a little slower. And that system's pretty progressive. Heads on out, then we get a break Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening before the actual front comes in. All right. So it should be a nice kind of quiet Tuesday afternoon and evening. Once we get that first round of rain out of here, we'll get a nice quiet stretch. And that should coincide if perhaps you're hitting the road to travel on Tuesday evening or Tuesday afternoon. We should be okay. There's going to be rain east. There'll be rain moving in from the west. Okay. We'll have to keep an eye on the timing of this, but there will be a window of time where we'll have things kind of drying out for a little bit as this short wave kind of heads out towards the east, then we deal with another boundary out towards the west. Look at the difference here, though. Okay, this is Tuesday night going into Wednesday, big travel day. Here's your sharp front. This is holding back that shot of the polar vortex, as all the news places are saying. This actually isn't part of the polar vortex. This is a cold front in late November. Imagine that. It's going to get colder behind this, okay? Hyping drives me nuts. All right, so here's our front. This will bring another round of rain in here Tuesday later in the evening into the nighttime hours as it looks right now. Should be out of here by Wednesday morning. And then what we deal with Wednesday, and we had this, if you missed it, I typed a big old article on regionweather.com with what to expect across the country and every single day for holiday travel. Nothing's changed in that forecast, at least not yet, but nothing's changed. Wednesday locally and around the Great Lakes is going to be mainly dry here locally. We'll have lake effect that's kicking in. It'll be rain changing over to snow. Areas of southwest lower Michigan, so I-94 is going to be kind of tricky on Wednesday. If you're taking the toll road east, we'll have to keep an eye on that lake effect as it develops. But the big story for everyone is that we are going to have windy conditions and it's going to be turning colder on Wednesday, okay? There you go. That's Wednesday night. Rain changes over to snow. Locally, not much. I do think we'll have some flurries around. We'll probably have flurries around Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening. Probably have some lake effect snow northern LaPorte County, but then the bulk of it's going to be up in Michigan. Just windy and snow showery and turning colder. We'll have accumulating snow over the course of your Thanksgiving in southwest lower Michigan. Look at this cold air. We've got cold air. This is not a lake effect event like we just had, Lake and Porter counties. You probably won't get much of anything, maybe a flurry or two. All right. Even LaPorte County, I don't see a lot of snow accumulation. However, the Great Lakes are going to be going pretty good. So Michigan's going to get quite a bit of snow off of this. Not a huge event, but enough to coat the ground. I mean, we're talking 3 to 6 inches perhaps, maybe more, where the bands develop, and then this will have a good band coming off of Lake Erie too. Okay, so windy and cold. Thanksgiving looks dry for most of our counties. We'll probably have some sunshine, but it'll be cold outside. And then same thing for Friday, as the lake effect starts to wind down as high pressure comes in and the wind shift. Okay, and then here's what's interesting, and here's the part that's kind of newer in terms of the modeling. System after system. Remember what I said? Now we've got cold air in place. The Euro's been pretty consistent with this the last two runs. All right. Outside of the last two runs, there's been no consistency with the Euro. There's been no consistency with the American model, the GEM, the AI model. There hasn't been much consistency beyond this point. So I'm starting to see some consistency. So this is the following weekend. Okay, big travel weekend next weekend as well as people are coming back. Sunday is one of the biggest travel days. Reason why people leave for different times for Thanksgiving. Some people leave Monday, some people leave Tuesday, some people leave Wednesday. Most everyone leaves Sunday to come back. So that's a big travel day. And there's going to be some kind of storm system around here. And again, this is the first time I'm seeing some consistency with it. So this is Saturday morning, all right? And then notice how big old lows getting going in the plain states, all right? There's going to be some real heavy snow in the northern end of this. For us locally, though, that's what we care about. What's going to happen here locally? The Euro's been picking up on the initial hit of precipitation Saturday as being primarily snow. We would have warmer air pushing in. Remember, we've got cold air in place Friday. We'll wake up Saturday morning, we'll have cold air in place still, but then we get this chunk of precip that develops on this huge system that's developing well to our west, kind of with the warm front. And most of that would be snow initially, says the Euro as of right now. And that would be a heavy snow at some point next Saturday. However, the saving grace with this is that it's with a warm front. So once that warm front goes through, this heavy, wet snow would change over to rain pretty quickly. You can see how we're rained by Saturday evening, and then we're all rain Saturday night into Sunday. So here's your Sunday forecast. This isn't good for travel, all right? And it's not good for air travel. It's not good for anything. We would have a real good dose of rain and wind and a decent warm up here locally, but there would be snow in the northern tier of this and then heavy snow and wind on the back side of this, all right? So not good for travel. The East Coast cities would be fine for travel. That's where a lot of the ripple effect comes if they have a snowstorm. But us here locally, O'Hare, Midway, if you're flying into Gary Regional Airport or International Airport, you might have some problems. Not that many people are doing that unless you have that luxury. But you can see how we've got the rain around. So this is Sunday, okay? And then that moves by. The Euro keeps that boundary out towards our west. So that's a wave of low pressure, but it doesn't bring in cold air here locally. It keeps us on the warmer side. Cold air still out towards the west. New low tries to develop here. Doesn't phase with the northern low, so it doesn't have much going on. So that shot of cold air is kind of wasted. We don't get much snow off of that. We're now Wednesday into Thursday of the following week. Couple weird systems that aren't getting picked up very well in the modeling. And then we would have another doozy coming into the Midwest, perhaps sometime later the following weekend. This is fantasy land on the models. This is the kind of stuff that you'll see posted, though, on some pages. You'll see some run that's 15 days out, shows a ton of snow somewhere, and we're calling it truth. Okay, so just know this is going to change, but it's an active pattern, and there's another storm system behind this, and each storm system has snow with it, all right? So that's that. This is interesting to me. Once this first wave goes by next weekend, I could foresee another low developing down here, and this being a big snowmaker closer to home. All right, I could see that happening, and that would be the first couple of days of December. Right now, the Euro doesn't phase it very well. All right, so that's that. That's the Euro model. I do want to show you the GFS. We'll give it some credibility because, boy, it nailed. GFS was the only model that nailed that rain that came up to Northwest Indiana over the course, 2 days ago, Friday night. It was the only one that had that far north. So there's that. All right, so GFS is a little bit different. There's our rain. We get another batch of rain, and then you can see not a lot of snow for us out of this, just a lot of cold air. GFS also handles this snow a little differently, but they have snow coming in here next Saturday, and then they do change it over to rain, but notice that cold air is a little bit more prevalent. So we're kind of a rain and gloppy wet snow, says the GFS next Sunday. And then everything kind of differs. You see how the GFS, though, brings that second wave in. I like that. I like that look to it. Just kind of on that recent run. And then it quiets down for a little bit, brings more snow on the 6th, and then another whopper of a system there on the 7th, 8th, and 9th. I mean, we'll see. We'll see if that holds. That's fantasy. We can't look at that stuff and say, hey, I'm going to cancel plans on the 7th, 8th, and 9th. Here's the gem. Gem's always a little snowier, so it brings in more lake effect. And then it too has that system next weekend with some snow changing over to rain Saturday, Sunday, and then look at that. It brings an ice storm in here Monday, December 1st. All right, that heads on out, and then we stay on the colder side. Gem's usually a little colder. Anyway, okay, so I show you all those just to show you those, but I always tend to lean euro in terms of the long-term stuff. It tends to be a little bit better. So how much snow are we talking? Not a lot here locally. Let me zoom in for you, and then we'll talk temps, and then I'll get you on your way. All right, here's our snowfall totals. Okay, this is through Thanksgiving. Not a lot. Remember, we're changing over. Here's Friday. Here's Saturday and the Sunday. Okay, so let me take that Saturday stuff out. So here's lake effect. This is what the Euro's thinking in terms of lake effect. I totally agree with this. I don't think we're going to get anything in Lake, and even Porter County, I think it's going to be hard to get it. We've got more of a westerly wind with this. This is all lake effect snow that kicks in Thanksgiving night into Friday, okay, with that cold air coming across the lakes. Up towards Grand Rapids, Holland, Berrien County, New Buffalo, I'd say good 3 to 6. That's what I was saying earlier. See some heavier amounts near the lakeshore, Lake Erie. Ontario gets hit with that as well. Okay, so that's with that. And then this is an early look at next Saturday, maybe 1 to 2 inches of just wet, slushy snow that would change over to rain next Saturday night. That's what it looks like right now. Keep our eye on that storm system, though, because if it goes a little bit further south, we would be all snow. If it goes further north, which tends to be the tendency with how the Euro corrects, then we would still have an initial hit of snow, but I think we'd be lesser in terms of some of these amounts a little bit further north, okay? And then if we just take it all the way through, this is through December 8th, the Euro says not much more locally, okay? So no big snows coming our way. So stop with the hype on social media if you see it. This is winter, okay? We can handle an inch or 2 of snow in the next 2 weeks. Here are the temperature profiles. This is the deterministic model of the Euro, which all the deterministics tend to be a little further off once you get like 10 days out. But you get the idea. We've got a nice mild week to start. Cold air hits Wednesday. This 49 is early in the day. We'll be falling throughout the day. And then we're 30 on Thanksgiving, 31 on Friday, lows at night well into the 20s. So good old freeze. And then you can see, up and down temperatures with these waves as we go over the next, 15 days or so. Okay, so that's what I've got for you. If you guys have questions, throw them into the chat. We would be happy to answer those for you. If not, I hope that helps. Again, these videos are for you. These live broadcasts are for you as well. I just want you to get something out of them. Hopefully you understand what's coming our way. And again, I don't always want to talk about all the hype out there on social. It just appears super bad this year. And I just want to make sure we're keeping an eye on the right thing and realizing that if there's a big snowstorm or something like that coming, I got you covered. We're going to let you know. You're not going to be surprised by the weather, okay? There's just a ton of stuff out there that is making this seem like it's going to be the worst 2 weeks we've ever had in the country because it's going to get cold and it might snow, okay? So that's that. All right, so let's go back to this. We'll let this run, and we'll answer your questions, and we'll go from there. All right. Tom, Paul McCartney, nice. Tuesday night, a little showery around here. Going to get a little rain. Shouldn't be too problematic, though. Tom, the later we get Tuesday evening, though, that wind is going to start to pick up a little bit. Just going to be a little gustier, okay? Not a huge deal. You can certainly handle it. So there's that. Okay. Let's see. We've got Kitty saying how much snow. Kitty, in terms of how much snow locally, I don't see a lot out of this lake effect event. Remember that lake effect's going to hit once we get towards, LaPorte County is going to get some. I think maybe a flurry or snow shower as you get towards Porter County. But then once you get up into Berrien County and then out towards South Bend, that's where they're going to have a little bit more. This isn't a huge event for them. We're not expecting anything like that our first snow of the year. We're not expecting anything like that. It's just going to be general snow showers. It's going to get tricky out there as well, especially up in Michigan. But overall, it's on the scale of lake effect events from 1 to 10, 10 being really, really bad. That last one we had was probably a 7 or 8. It was way up there. This is like a 4. Okay, so there is going to be snow, but it's not going to be too crazy. Let's see. Wendy says, Saturday morning, my daughter flying from South Bend to Charlotte and then to Shreveport. Wow. How does that look for her going out? So Saturday morning is going to be tricky, Wendy, based on that system coming in. Charlotte should be fine Saturday morning. I can zoom out and show you. Charlotte should be fine. Shreveport would probably have thunderstorms in the vicinity. So let's go way out. That's too far. Let's do this. let's get you Saturday morning here. Here's Saturday morning right here. Okay. So remember, we have this system coming in right here. Okay. So we'll have snow working in. Timing might change. Right now, the Euro has this dry Saturday morning with it moving in during the day. But here's that. Charlotte has a nice high pressure. Shreveport, nothing yet, but I mentioned storms. Yeah, there's your storm. So Shreveport would have storms probably Saturday night into Sunday. Okay. So that was that. See, I visualized the weather map in my head before I checked it. So I praise the Lord for my geography minor. It certainly helps. Honor, great question. How do you think the AI models will affect forecasting? It's interesting. The AI models have done a good job so far in certain aspects. And just like any other model that we look at, the Euro, the GFS, the GEM, there are things that they're not great at. And so we're still kind of learning what those are. They still tend to have kind of a warm bias in terms of some of these cold blasts that come in. At least that's what I've noticed so far. But it's a little too soon to tell, Honor. That's a great question, though. Now, the AI meteorologists, like your phone and everything else, they've still got some work to do. They haven't worked on it yet. So it's long. It's just some things are like so far off. It's funny. And I'll just share this with you. My wife got this cool app. It takes what your family eats. It's a AI like food like recipe model thing. But what it does, it takes like what your family eats. You input all this stuff like, hey, this person likes this person likes this. We need to stay away from this. Mainly vegetarian or vegan, whatever it happens to be, or whatever you are. And what it will do, it'll send you a bunch of recipes, and you click on them, and it will take everything in that recipe, and it'll automatically put it in your shopping cart. With Whole Foods or our local grocery stores do it as well. And so it's all in your cart, and then you just order your Whole Foods thing, and it all comes, and then you've got these recipes. It's really cool. However, it had her like cooking, like baking cucumbers the other day or something. And then there was something else that was really off. You're like, no, I don't think we do that. So it's AI stuff. You have to check it. Make sure you're checking it before you're doing stuff. Ethan asked, do you think we could have many snowstorms in December? Ethan, it's certainly possible. That jet stream's taking a dive. I mean, it's active. I mean, just look at it. If we just look at kind of what's going on here, I'm going to run this over the next 15 days. I mean, look at it. We've got storm system, right? Storm system. All like there's just so much going on. Storm here, storm here, storm here, storm here. All these things as that colder air continues to come into play. Anytime we get a storm into California, we're going to have to watch it. It's going to come our way. And it's that time of year. It's just very, very active. And so, yes, I do think the potential is there for some snowstorms for sure in December. How many do we get? Who knows? Do they hit where we live? That's the big thing. When we look at snowstorms, like this one, for example, this is where it hits, this area, okay? There are so many places where it's not hitting, all right? It's really hard to get a snowstorm to line up with where you live, all right? Let's use this for an example, all right? Rocky's getting it. Up here, same area, so I guess that's not a good example. And this one's way up here, right? So there's a lot of spots that don't get the snowstorm every time. I want you to know that because a lot of times we think like they're just missing Northwest Indiana when that's not the case. However, last couple of years they have been missing Northwest Indiana, so there's that. And we could prove that. I remember the big snow hole the one year right over our area. Everyone else had snow and we didn't, so there's that. Okay, I think that's it. I'm getting a lot of happy Thanksgivings. Jacqueline, thank you very much. I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving as well. Amanda, happy Thanksgiving to you. Rose, have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Bass Cat Joey, you too, buddy. I appreciate it. All right, we'll be with you on the radio side. I'm working next couple days, so we'll have a forecast for you. Obviously, we'll do Matt's Morning Minute. If you guys like the Matt's Morning Minute, you guys have given me good feedback on it. But honestly, if you're not getting anything out of something I do, please let me know. All right, I can move on and do something else that would be more helpful for you guys. But just let me know, please. I love feedback. If there's anything that you are not seeing that you would like me to cover in daily posts or in this chat, I'd be happy to do that. This is your broadcast, not mine. Okay? All right, guys. Have a wonderful week. We'll talk to you all this week, but if we don't, happy Thanksgiving to you too. And enjoy some of the colder air as it finally makes an appearance once again here in Northwest Indiana.